He is the hardest working man in sports entertainment. I bring to you the Cat.
Here we go, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Can somebody call my mama? It's about to get funky up in here. The Cat is back. Cat looking good, baby. He's got those red shoes on. You know Elvis has got the blue suede shoes. Well, the Cat.
You already know, man. This is the Unsanctioned Podcast. We're now being sanctioned over your airwaves. Let's get it.
Gotta bring the city back. Let me know we still here. Never gonna stop. Keep rolling like a wheelchair. Can't be shook. You know the wolf smell fair. Throw him in the trunk. Turn your man to a straight spit. No tire, just
Yeah. Jeune, we are here, man. It's a little different for this intro.
It sounds a little weird.
Yeah.
Lights are on.
Yeah.
We have microphones in our hands.
And we were here. We're missing Luis.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, Luis Vasquez. He is on vacation for this episode. But of course, we could not let you guys go without hearing the great Unsanctioned Podcast. This is your boy, Jay Holland. You can find me across social media at Jail City, JAYOCITY. Let's us on Facebook at that 781 at the end.
And now I'm Julio, Jeune.
Good God!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Uh-oh, copyright infringement.
Wait. I don't want to get a cease and desist letter.
Ooh, too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon. Oh man, on this episode of the Unsanctioned Podcast, I don't think people understand what we have. I think we may need to place a call.
We may need to place a call to somebody.
To who do we have in mind?
I don't know.
Maybe have somebody call my mama.
So maybe somebody's mama.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe somebody's mama.
Maybe get some red ruby shoes.
Maybe get some red ruby shoes, some blonde hair. Get some high flying kicks going, some hi-yas.
You know, get the cape, get the special James Brown cape.
We got a true legend in the entertainment world of wrestling.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. They're one of the funniest wrestling characters to ever come out of WCW.
And I remember, as you know, in my childhood, and you could probably attest to this too, man. Like, this man just brought an element to television that you knew you just had to sit there and watch, no matter what role they put him in.
Absolutely.
He always evolved his character.
Absolutely.
He went from he came in from the martial artist, then he came in with the slick talk and the dance moves.
Yep.
And then he commissioner. You know, so he always found his way to get over and stay relevant, man. And I think that's what a lot of up-and-coming wrestlers can learn from.
A legend in 2 games.
A legend in 2 games?
A legend in 2 games. A legend in the karate game.
Uh-huh.
A legend in professional wrestling.
Yep.
A legendary entertainer.
Look, I'm going to sit here and tell y'all. They used to say Thunder wasn't entertaining. I would watch WCW Thunder, just because I know my homie Ernest The Cat Miller was going to be on there with the blonde hair, with the nice little Gucci loafers on. He brought style to the ring.
Listen, style isn't even the word to personify what this man brought. He brought class, elegance, grace, and made you call your mama.
Without further ado, man, we want to welcome to the Unsanctioned Podcast, Mr. Ernest The Cat Miller. What's going on, Mr. Miller?
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. I like that introductory. I like that.
Nah, thank you, man. Like, honestly, like I said, we don't peddle any BS over here. Like, we honestly and truly are enamored and very humbled that you are able to join us. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, man. So let's get it on. Let's go.
Let's get it on. Call your mama. Let's go.
So, Mr. Miller, one of the first things I want to ask is, you know, a lot of people who are familiar with your past know that you were a legendary karate competitor and then also in kickboxing. What made you make the transition from karate and kickboxing over to professional wrestling?
Well, money, you know, in karate, that's not a martial art. There's not a lot of money right now where it wasn't then. In there, you know, we didn't have the UFC, we didn't have the mixed martial arts. We only had maybe the K1 and the kickboxing, and that really didn't pay the bill, you know. So, fortunately, I was a teacher to kind of supplement pay. I worked as a karate instructor, and that's why I met Eric Bischoff, who started speaking my language. He said, "Hey, if you come work for me, I can make you a wealthy man." So I knew what my next job was going to be, right there with him.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. You first met Mr. Bischoff. You were an instructor for his son, Garrett, who later became a professional wrestler. Isn't that correct?
Exactly, yes. Yes.
Nice. Now, so your first day in the WCW, you walk in there from, not to say professional wrestling is not a serious world. Of course, it's a serious business in terms of financials. But you're coming from a serious world of competitors of different disciplines, in mixed martial arts and martial arts. Now, your first day in WCW, you're seeing cartoonish figures kind of in the locker room area. What was your first thoughts walking in there?
I'm from Atlanta, and I played a lot of street basketball, neighborhood basketball. And in my neighborhood and the neighborhoods that I live in, we lived around a lot of characters anyway. Everybody had their little street nicknames. So it didn't surprise me. A lot of them kind of drifted and melted right into the society, It wasn't Hulk Hogan outside of work, It was his father. It was Terry, the father and husband, So that what kind of struck me a little strange.
Now, you kind of just mentioned a name that, I can't kind of just glance over without touching base here. You mentioned Hulk Hogan, who's a legend in professional wrestling. But unfortunately, Mr. Hogan had some views a couple years ago that weren't, for many of his former fans, he kind of turned his back on us.
I'll say I was rooting for Zeus after that. Zeus.
So how did that make you feel, knowing that you knew him kind of backstage a little bit? Did you have an inkling of, that type of stuff was in his character at all when you were interacting with him?
Hey, let's be for real. If it was a mic following me around all day, you hear all kinds of names I'm calling. You'll hear that N-word coming from my mouth, too, to a couple of my friends, White boy this, the hunky that, the cracker this, the N-word, not do it in front of people, not behind their back. But, I kind of understand when it comes from a mouth of someone so highly respected in the business, a pro wrestler that is a $1 billion business now. He carry a little bit more strength and power to, a lot of youth and young people that kind of look up to him, and he'll kind of sold himself to all different races, not just one race. So, I think when he used that word and it put down all fan who might just, that's when it become a problem. But being outside of that and looking at that, I never had a problem with Hogan. Hogan's always been my face, one of my greatest supporter in the business. He give me advice and would give me advice. Always invite me wherever we going, wherever he was going. I was always invited. He treated me with a lot of respect.
Now, do you think that has to do with the fact that you kind of had a relationship with Eric Bischoff? I was closer than the average wrestler? Because
maybe Hogan knew I'd kick his damn teeth out his head to piss me off.
No, he definitely knew that.
No, I was just playing. No, I don't think my relationship with Eric had anything to do with the relationship that I had with others. I think when I was coming in, people probably thought maybe that was going to be a possibility. But when they saw, I believe in hard work, man. Just give me an opportunity and let me do the work, and let my work speak for itself. And I think it carried over into that because I only met Eric I was 37 when I met Eric. I was successful before I met Eric in karate. I played, I was an All-American football player. I got a couple of tryouts with the NFL team, world champion. So a great teacher. So I was already successful before I met Eric. So when I came to the business, all Eric did is open the door for me. And, I went in and picked the torch up and started carrying it around, So I made my own way.
Now, Mr. Miller, I remember your debut, and I'm like, who is this guy jumping over the barrier, saving Glacier? I used to joke and call Glacier Sub-Zero. Because I swear that's who he was. I swear that's who he was made up of.
It was definitely a ripoff of Mortal Kombat.
It definitely was. But
no, it wasn't a ripoff. It was a reboot.
It was a remake,
just like what they doing today. How you gonna talk about what we was doing? Because we did a reboot, but you would probably go pay money to see Batman and all that stuff rebooting right now at the movie at the theaters, right?
You're right there. You're right there. You got me on
Batman's
that
one. A little more rated R now.
It wasn't a knockoff.
It wasn't a knockoff.
Batman's a little more rated R right now. I mean, Adam West was a little different. Yeah. But no.
How about the Black Panther? How about that?
Yeah, and I'm just for the record, I'm anticipating that But yeah, you are right. You are right. It is a reboot. But to get back to my question, there, it was I remember seeing your debut. Tell me, like, behind the scenes, like, how did they pitch that to you? They was just like, hey, for your first introduction to the world on WCW, we're gonna have you save Glacier. And I know you're probably like, who is Glacier? Give me the rundown.
You know, I knew Glacier. I knew all the guys in it, man. We was a family, a team. So I knew what they were doing. I wasn't. He didn't bring me on to be a part of that, but it was something they were putting together where they were practicing karate and martial arts and getting ready to debut that whole little gimmick. It was what we call it, the Mortal Kombat thing.
Yeah.
So, they just called me out one day and said, listen, this is what we're going to do because it's not working. So we need some legitimate kind of spice it up a little bit. Just hit the ring and become Glacier partner for a little while. So, I said, all right. So I hit the ring and did what I did. I let those kicks fly. And the fans went crazy, and had some good guys in there who would bump around from me, with Chris Canyon. Man, and Adam, these guys were good bumpers. These guys make you look good. And all I had to do is throw some real high-flying kicks, and, it was a good debut for me.
I mean, I love the initial gimmick, but to me, the gimmick that stood out to me the most was when you combined Muhammad Ali, that young man rumble talk, and then you combined it with James Brown with the style and the flair and the red ruby shoes. I remember specifically you actually had a dance-off with the great James Brown. Tell us about that. Tell us about how that gimmick came and just that overall experience being able to have a live dance-off on pay-per-view with Mr. Entertainer himself, James Brown.
It's kind of snuck up on everybody, because I kept doing, in this business, man, you got to plan for yourself in the wrestling business. You got to plan because if anybody else plan for you, you got to plan to fail. So, it's things you're going to have to do. It's not like what most people think. You gimmick and you just play that gimmick out. No, that's not how it's done. You walk in and you got to really kind of be your own business, and you got to plot things, and you got to put things together that hopefully people want to watch, or people, either they want to boo you or they want to cheer you. You want one or the other. So when they gave me the opportunity, because I wasn't asking to beat Hulk Hogan, I was asking to pin Sting 1, 2, 3, like a lot of people were. They were thinking more about winning on TV than, getting their character over, but Booker T was a mentor, him and Stevie Ray. They kind of put me aside and they said, listen, you'll get over. Just go on TV. No matter if you're winning or losing, you're going to get over. A lot of these guys here going to ask, they don't want to be on TV unless they're winning. Winning is more important than the character development. So, I came up with something that I knew, without a doubt, I knew a lot about, Muhammad Ali. Tell me what kid growing up, black kid growing up at that age, at the time we were growing up, I was growing up, that didn't know James Brown entertaining side and didn't know Muhammad Ali side. So I just said, let's put both of those together and let me go out here and show it to the white folks to see if they like it.
They would.
So, yeah. So, at first, they didn't like me when I was a quiet dude, when I was walking around just minding my own business and coming out there saving Glacier, and going on back and not that they, after a while they started getting kind of ooh, they started hating that thing, So it wasn't until one day we was in the locker room, and back in our locker room, man, I'm gonna go back to when I first started, when my first day on set, getting ready to do the pay-per-view. NWO was just coming on board. They were just coming in the house. And I'm telling you, man, back in the back, before the show ever began, you got a room full of, like, characters. Man, people I grew up watching, like Dirty Dick Slater, Stan Hansen. You got all these guys just walking around in the back. I look over to see Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Nash. I'm saying all these guys that in college I used to watch, and Sid Vicious. You know, I'm seeing all these guys, Lex Luthor. You know, I'm seeing all these guys back in the back, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. But, you know, it's like I was kind of, and I was in a new space, so I didn't want to rub anybody wrong. So, you know, I kind of slid in, got my dinner, and I sat down at the table, and I'm eating all that. Wow, you know, I'm really kind of anxious looking around, seeing all these guys, Ric Flair, seeing all these guys walking through, eating in the locker room. I'm doing what they're doing now, you know? To I was happy with just being there until one guy got up from the table, and this dude walked across the room with his tray. He was sitting at the table with all the stars. He got up. I was sitting by myself. He got up. He came to my table, and he said, hey, you mind if I sit here with you? I'm like, no, go ahead. And he sat down, and he just started kind of laying out the business. He said, listen, he said, the business is like this. You're going to have fun. It might be short and sweet, or it may be 20 years, you know, but just have fun. That's what it's all about, having fun and taking care of yourself. And that was Scott Hall. He first wanted to introduce himself to me like that, and he had my respect from that day on. He was just always like, Ernest Cat, man, you got cool stuff, relax, do this and do that, you know. So I was surrounded by a lot of family, man. So, you know, when I started coming up with my own gimmick and own stuff, it's like I didn't want to bother anyone. I just wanted to be in the scene. So I just said, let me do this, do something totally different. Let me try the red shoes, you know, these red shoes. And the reason I got red shoes, people ask, why you get the red shoes on? Because when I started doing that, I used to wrestle bare feet, you know, with karate. I didn't have any shoes on, just taped ankle. So I was always bare feet when I went in there. I didn't have any boots on. So when I started to do my James Brown dance, you know, your feet get kind of rusty. So it was gripping that mat, so I couldn't really slide across there. So I said, the hell with that, man. I wouldn't have bought me a pair. We was in Chicago. I said, the hell with that. That's burning my toes on that damn carpet, man. At least what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do. I'm going to run and get some shoes. I said, I'm going to get the worst. I like those red shoes. I went and bought the red shoes across the street from we was in Chicago. I ran across the street. It was a shoe store. I ran across the street. I looked around for some shoes. I saw the blue shoes, and I saw the green shoes, the brown shoes. So I need something that's going to stick out. So I got the red shoes. So I brought the red shoes back, and I told them, I said, okay, at the end, when I start dancing, I'm going to put these shoes on. And then when I put the shoes on, it's going to be easy to slide, and I can do my split and the whole James Brown thing. So I told him I was going to put the shoes on, and then I was going to pin the guy 1, 2, 3. So I kicked the guy, whoever he was. I kicked the guy. He was supposed to go down, and then I was going to slide, put my shoes on. Then I was going to Then I wasn't going to kick him. I was going to just lay down on it and get the 3 count. But this idiot, whoever he was, got up while I was dancing. So I was like, damn, he's supposed to still be down. He's going to let me do this. And so I just kicked him with the damn shoes on. And 1, 2, 3, and the crowd went crazy. You know, and then I threw the shoes off, you know, and told the guy, you know, so the shoes got over. It got over so much that Sting was walking down the hallway, and Sting stopped me in the hall. He was like, Ernest, that's really good, man. He said, watch and see, those red shoes going to get over. So, you know, with the dancing and the Muhammad Ali, they couldn't do anything but bring one or the other in. One of them had to come in and confront me with what I was doing. And that's where I wanted to lead. And as soon as James Brown heard about it, man, James Brown said yes. He came in, and the first thing he told me, he's a big fan. He watched wrestling all the time. And it was so funny, man. You know, if you ever talked to James Brown, he was like old school. It was old school. He said, man, let me tell you something. What you doing right now and the way you dancing and the way you acting, he said, you're going to bring black people to watch wrestling again. That's what he said. Swear, James Brown told me that you're going to have, that's what you're doing. You bring a black people, because we like to see that entertainment. We like to see that out there. And then, you know, he went out, put a couple of capes on me. And then he told me, he said, listen, the capes, man, he said, make sure you keep the capes. And I said, yeah, thank you. He said, I said, yeah. So I sent my valet, I sent the wardrobe lady to get the capes for me. And then, you know, now I find out that the capes both are worth $100,000.
Hopefully you still got those.
They were worn by him. Yeah, I still got them. And they were worn by him, and anything that he had that he put on with those capes, man, got a high price on them now. That he passed away. So, you know, it was good to be able to dance with him, man. It was a highlight of one of the highlights of my life, you know.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned how James Brown, told you that, you keep dancing and just having the entertainment factor that you brought to WCW, that you would bring back black people to watch wrestling. We've interviewed a few black wrestlers in the past, and of course, the
Name
topic
one.
of race.
Give me one.
Tony Norris, you guys know, better known as Big T in WCW, Ahmed Johnson in WWE.
I know Tony Norris.
Yeah,
I know him.
We've had MVP from WWE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I saw him. I saw him last night.
Yeah, so they've alluded to just disparities, and racism. Some blatant, some not as much blatant. Just in the wrestling business. One angle I remember is when you battled. You was basically in a feud with Buff Bagwell, and he was going against you, and he was mocking you, but then they put him in blackface.
Mm-hmm. I recognized that. I could have stopped that right then, because I had the kind of power. So I'm not going out here and doing that. I'm not doing this. But you know what? I wanted to let people see what some people thought was okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I had put a stop to that, just because somebody okayed it, but if I had put a stop to that and said, no, I'm not going out there on TV, I would have been okay with it because it would have made me, made me feel better not to have to put up with that. I know that's stupid. I can't believe they're going to let them do that. Or even ask me, because I had the power to say, no, I'm not going to do that. But guess what? I said, no, if they think it's cool to put that on TV, shit, let people see what we had to put up with, and some of the people who are really racist things and racist people don't realize that they are. Maybe they give to people of different color. Maybe they help somebody out, so they don't think that they're racist. But I think when you look at someone and think that you're better than them, or think that it's okay to do this, something that you will want done to you, then it becomes a problem. And you got the power to really hurt people, just like we were talking about Hogan. I have never heard Hogan say that in front of me or say those words in front of me or names or anything. But, somebody got him on tape saying it. And the only thing I was concerned with is how about the little kids that he'll peddle into his little web of Hogan fans, and how do they feel when they look up and hear their hero saying something so derogatory that it hurt their feeling, hurt people, and that's what I looked at, but you can't carry that crutch around because it's out there. So, you can't change. You got to deal with it. Even in pro wrestling, man. You look at wrestling today, WWE told me, I know I was good. I know I could talk. I know I had character. I know I could do anything that I've never had a problem doing anything I wanted to do in life. Never. I'm not just speaking about a job. I mean, give me the outline of what you need me to do physically or mentally, and I'll get it done, But here I am in a business that's all make-believe, made up, and these guys telling me they can't write for me. We don't know what to write for you. And, I'm looking at these cats like, it kind of hurt my feelings, because I've never been in that position before. I said, wait a minute. You know what to do with all these other guys, but you can't write for Ernest Miller, Ernest the Cat Miller. You don't know what to write for me. So, that's when we parted ways. And it wasn't until a couple of, I think about a year later, about a year ago, Eric Bischoff and JR was on his podcast, and they asked him about me, and JR was the one to say that, they really missed the boat on Ernest Miller. A good-looking black guy, athletic, and can talk, and they couldn't find nothing for him. And I said, the problem was what he said. When he said a good-looking black guy, I'm a good-looking man. You understand? Black, white, green, yellow, whatever. So, that's where it started. That right there, to me, could have been labeled as racist. Because, when you're working with someone, you're not working with a black person. You're not working with a white. You're supposed to treat this person like a person, you know. And so when they told me they couldn't write for me and stuff like this, you know, it was the first time that I felt helpless. Like, okay, ain't nothing I can do. It's their business. When I said they, you know, I had to go to my side now. You know, you pick sides. When they came to me and told me they can't write for me, but they can write for John Cena, I'm going to tell you a story. We had a match with John Cena. Well, I made the save, a house show. I made the save on John Cena. That when John Cena was just coming up. Then the guy got the heat on me. And then me and John Cena back-to-back ran them out. So I thought, okay, they got to do something with me because I know they pushing this white dude. I know they pushing John Cena. So it's a time when the guy came in, and he had the mic. The referee had the mic, and he was calling it a draw. And I reached over and grabbed the mic, and the crowd went crazy. I mean, just crazy. They were ready for me to talk, ready for me to say something. Next thing you know, the referee came over to me and said, hey, on the mic, on the earplug, they said, give the mic to John Cena. Don't say no, give it to John Cena. So I gave it to John Cena. And he said his little yo stuff, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I just left the ring. That's when I kind of figured out, I said, they don't want to do nothing with me because if they did, the crowd right here for me to do something. And then that's when you figure out that they're not writing for you and they're not looking for anything for you, you try to figure out how to get yourself over. And that's when you really start kind of doing stuff that bring you down because now you're leaving your character and you're looking for silly stuff. And I noticed the things that I started doing, trying to get myself over, get attention, you know, is not the things that I was doing when I was in WCW, when I had time to develop myself and had time to work with that. You know, I look at those three guys, man, which I hate those guys' characters, man. The guys who be dancing all the time. I forgot his name.
The New Day. You know what? You're kind of leading me into where I was going to go next, kind of touch on, and that's, you just mentioned, you know, when you came into WCW, you know, you had all the talent in the world. And, you know, kind of wasn't until you started doing some of the dancing and more entertaining stuff that, you know, you got over with the crowd. Throughout the annals of wrestling history, you know, you've had, you know, big, strong guys like Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson back in the 70s and the 80s who couldn't get over as much as JYD, who did a little dancing. The New Day, when they originally came out, you know, they were a serious group that people weren't really getting behind. And then as soon as they started doing a little bit more comedy and a little bit more dancing, people got behind them. Do you think that as a minority wrestler, that's something you kind of have to do to initially get your character over?
You know, I didn't have to do it. Mentally or subconscious, I didn't have to do it. But maybe unaware of me being a wrestling fan throughout the years, I've seen some of my favorite wrestlers do a little jig or something, whatever you want to call it, a little dance move or something in the ring. You know, but you seen white guys do it, but they couldn't dance. You know, so the thing was, what I was doing was really to bring to light somebody in the entertainment world that I like. It wasn't something I made. I didn't wiggle my leg just because I want to feel strong. I want to feel stupid. I did that James Brown dance because I loved James Brown growing up. So, you know, be it as it may, maybe it was a symbol of what it takes blacks to get over, but that didn't get me over. The dance didn't get me over. The Muhammad Ali stuff didn't get me over. What got me over was what I was doing. I knew how to play stuff. All the stuff you see me dancing, wiggling, and Nathan, you know I'm doing shit that can't nobody else do. I'm jumping off the rope, kicking people aside the head and doing stuff because outside of that ring, guess what? I'm a legitimate karate fighter. I'm a legitimate fighter. I didn't nobody mess with me. I never had a problem with somebody trying to pick a fight with me in the ring or outside the ring. You know, so they knew I was a shooter. But then when you hear them talk about it, they talk about, oh well, you know, such and so was a shooter. Yeah, but I saw you punk him out in the bathroom. I saw somebody yell at him in the thing. No way, I never had that problem. You know, so it's like they give you credit, but then they take it away from you because they can. Because we ain't never had no credit in there. You know, you look at Rocky Johnson. Rocky is what? He's part Hawaiian and black, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They only talk about the Hawaiian side. They don't talk about his great black father who was a legend before Rocky was, you know?
Mm-hmm. You got the Samoan side.
So, you know, so So that's the business and that's the world, man. And you see more of this today when you even politics and stuff like that. People can say what they want to say. They used to hide it and say, "Oh, we can't feel that way. You know, we can't feel this way because it's not right, and people won't go for it." Now they see it's a handful of people go for it, so let's do it until somebody stop us. Let's say hurtful thing. Let's separate people. Let's put another group of people down and make them, you know, make them where they can't sleep at night. You know, but hey, my highest power is God. He got me. He protected me. So through all that stuff, guess what? I got rich. You know, I made money. So I don't have to be bitter. I don't have to be I don't have to be liked, you know. They had to respect me. That's all I want.
We've talked to, you know, just a few black professional athletes, wrestlers, and they told us just the history. You know, we've also heard how some of them don't get along, you know, with, you know, Booker T and, you know, Ahmed Johnson. He had some choice words for them, him and Stevie Ray.
With who?
Ahmed had some choice words for.
They don't get along with who?
Ahmed doesn't get along with Stevie Ray and Booker.
See that's a lie. Cause me and Stevie Ray, good friend. We talk all the time. Me, Stevie Ray, and Ahmed used to ride together.
Oh yeah, he spoke on that. He told us, but he felt a certain type of way after a while. You know, we had him on here, and I guess there was on Stevie Ray's podcast. You know, he had alluded to, you know, just one time in particular where, you know, Ahmed was facing Booker T and supposedly he forgot the match, you know, and, you know, as we said to Ahmed, we was like, we don't think there was any ill intent. We think it was just a story being told, but, you know, he had a few choice words for Stevie, and he felt a certain type of way about Booker T.
No, I don't think that ever happened, you know, because I would have heard about it. And you know how many people forget matches in the ring? Damn near everybody. Think about that.
Right.
Everybody forget a match, so usually don't go that far to call somebody to get mad. You shake hands, say, "I'm sorry," you get it together. And Sting and I had a match, and Sting was my partner. He came in and he messed up a spot. And he apologized the whole time. "Cat, man, I'm sorry. I forgot this spot, man. I wanted to it was our first time working together, and I wanted to really make this look good for you." And so, man, I was like, "Steve, listen to me. These people don't know we messed up. They don't know. They just want to see the bodies in the ring doing something. So it's okay. It's all right." So, you know, I've never heard of people. Now, you know, sometimes people going to come on your podcast and say things, man, and things to try to stir up something and try to get noticed a little bit, try to get a little recognition or something, you know, and, you know, sometimes work and sometimes won't, you know, but I don't remember anybody. I don't remember that incident. And me and Stevie and Ahmed used to ride together a lot. And I talk to Booker T all the time.
Now, how do you feel about, you know, we talked earlier about, you know, the rebooting of particular characters and things of that nature. WWE over time, they had Tyrus, who's now in Impact, but he was in WWE. They gave him your theme song. Somebody Call My Mama.
Hey, they didn't just give him my theme song. They gave him my
dances,
everything. They gave me everything. But guess what, man? To me, I'm sitting at home laughing with my feet up on the table. With millions of dollars in the bank, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Looking at this stuff on TV. Hey, I'm glad they're thinking about me. I like that, you know.
I can't be.
I hope he know how to use it.
I can't be too mad at it because we did get Naomi from that. but yeah. You were known for having. Yeah,
but let me tell you something about WWE if you want to know. And this is how people know. Maybe people forget. Maybe it wasn't intentionally, but you know, we did that movie, The Wrestler, which was one of the top movies out, man. I mean, nominated for Oscars, you know.
Ayatollah.
And Vince McMahon. Yeah, Vince McMahon had somebody who was a top bill in there, me, you know. And let me tell you something. It's just like anything else. A good movie come out, they bring in the stars, you know, and parade them around in the ring, you know, when one of those other boys is in the top movie and he not on the contract, they still bring him in and highlight him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let me tell you this. instead of bringing me in, somebody who worked with them before and a wrestler, guess who they brought in? They brought in Mickey Rourke. Who maybe they brought him in because he a bigger thing. Wait a minute. Why you didn't bring in Ernest The Cat Miller? And he's one of the stars of the movie. And you guys, you know, and he's a wrestler. Somebody thinking like that now. But you know what, man? If it was WCW still around, maybe it would have been wrong because, you know, we planted seeds in there because we were kicking WWE's ass. I don't care what you said. They had to sell their soul to the devil to pull up out of that hole. Eric Bischoff was all on their neck, man, down their neck, man. Eric Bischoff was running that thing, man, like a damn madman. He was a mad scientist. That sucker come in there, kick the door open while we sitting in the locker room and the show going on. He'd kick the door open and said, you, go to the ring now. What you want to do? Do something. Go to the ring. They in there watching WWE, WWF at the time on their live show because they were like 2 minutes or 3 minutes ahead of us. Man, Eric go in there, booing, steer the crowd away. Man, he had that thing down to. It was down to signs. Man, he had that thing down. Cause we were kicking their butt, man. Then they think, you know, they start showing the women with the naked women, the men slapping women. The doing the little crotch thing, you know, just stuff that, you know, you had to sell your soul to the devil, man. If you look at all those people now that was involved with that, other than The Rock and Stone Cold, they went through some shit, you know, they'd have had some problems or difficulties in their life that, you know, like China. Look at China. She was instrumental part of that process, you know, and, you know, Stone Cold, you know, look at his problem. We all have problems, but, you know, when you sell your soul to the thing, because when you sell your soul to doing that just for someone to turn on the TV and see what you're saying, you know, it's a tough thing to live with sometimes too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of truth there, and which leads me to my next question. I mean, before I get into that, you were known for having a lot of arm candy yourself there. And like you said, I believe they took that whole Tyrus and that somebody called my mama their whole gimmick. Because I remember they had matched you up with Tigress, who I definitely had a crush growing up on. And then
you weren't the only one, boy.
You know what I mean? And she still look good, all right? You know what I mean? So, Tigress, if you ever hear us, we welcome you on.
Then Miss Jones.
Yeah, I remember Miss Jones. Let me tell you, Miss Jones was like good on the eyes, but then you would be afraid because she could beat you up at the same time. Like,
yeah.
So it was I mean, definitely. Like I said, I remember like Macho Man used to have the valets, but then you came along. And you had your fair share of valets, but you had alluded to, like, you know, Eric Bischoff, the way he ran WCW. And basically you guys were kicking WWE's behind for 86 weeks, 88 weeks straight. Do you feel that had Eric Bischoff was able to purchase WCW during that time when they was going faltering, do you think WCW would still exist today?
Oh, man, no doubt, man. That's a smart dude, man. He's a nerdy, smart dude, you know, and when he into something, he's into something. He don't care what color you are. He don't care if you man, woman, a beast, a kid, or what. He going to treat everybody the same. He has no friends. They all people. They're just part of his plan to make that thing successful, man. If he had got his hands on that, man, because he was working on it. I remember sitting down talking to him about it. He was working, man. He had went and got the money. Everything was ready to go. He was talking about how he was going to do it, man. But, you know, at that time, man, you got too many people cutting throat. You got cutthroat people in that Hollywood TV business, man. Y'all think what y'all see right now in Hollywood?
Yep.
Wrestling is a small Hollywood. It's a piece of Hollywood. Same stuff y'all see in Hollywood is the same thing that was going on backstage. We're going on behind the scenes. You know, it's not just people was enjoying Monday Night Nitro and Raw. People just enjoying those shows, man, and they don't realize like what it was taking to put these shows on, man. That was a street fight, man. there was like 2 UFC fighters who people been wanting to see fight were actually fighting. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, it wasn't like the O'Connor and Mayweather fight where you wanted to see this fight, but then when the fight got here, it's like, oh man, this is not a real. No, that was a big time mixed martial art, drag out, choke out fight with 2 giants that were going at it. They were going at it, man. The funny part when Eric Ema came on TV one time and challenged Vince McMahon on TV. Man, I was like, man, this is perfect. Boy, this is great. This is what it's supposed to be.
Now you have the opportunity of working with some of the greats of all time, and then there are some who have, I guess you could say, a troubled story attached to the name. One being Chris Benoit. Tell us how it was, just working with Chris both in WCW and then in WWE.
Man, Chris Benoit was like, they all were nice, man. I know that probably sounds cliche, but they were all nice guys. And Benoit was like one of the most, we were like a family, man, because then it's like Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Chris, what's Chris' name?
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. All these guys were all in Disco Inferno, Buff Bagwell, and so on and so on. We was on the road. We was the one during the time when it was very, very high in numbers, viewing and winning back in the 97. It was a lot of house shows. And those millionaires, that top level group was not the ones who was doing the house shows. So we were all traveling together, man, doing every house show. Every now and then you'll get Scott Hall or Nash to come in and make the hey yo and the NWO and drive the crowd crazy at the end. But the thick of it was we were working the shows, man. Chris Benoit was always very helpful. You can go to him and say, hey Chris, what should I do after this? What should I do in the ring? Should I do this? Let me run this by you. He will always help. Okay, let me sit down. Okay, sit down. Real quiet to himself, and just real nice. So, and then in WWE, I just know they were working the heck out of him. I know he was working hard. He even talked to me one time, and he would just tell me how hard they working him hard. And, he even said one time, I remember him saying to me one time, I said, man, they working you that hard? He said, man, I just had 5 cups of coffee just to try to get in the ring. And I said, you sore? He said, my whole body sore, but I feel good. I can do this. He said, Ernest, you got to live hard and fast and die young.
Talking about, those guys that made the transition from WCW to WWE. When WCW was purchased by Vince McMahon, you chose to take a couple years off and kind of sit out the rest of your Time Warner contract before you made the jump to WWE. Did you ever think about not making the jump to WWE when your contract ran out?
Oh, man, Big, let me tell you something. They asked me a couple of times, like they wanted to get me off the list. It's like, man, let me tell you something. I made money. I had enough money. I'm doing my karate thing again, man, and my kids were young, so I was able to kind of take them back and forth to school, go to their AAU basketball game. I was having a good time, man, and then, I got a call from WWE and, hey, man, Vince McMahon really liked you. And let me tell you something. The whole time I was there, Vince looked like he liked me. That's why I thought I never had a problem, because that's why I kind of took my time about putting stuff out there and just let me take the time. They'll get around to me. Vince, from day one, he always opened his door whenever I needed to talk to him or speak to him or advise, and he always act like he liked me. Matter of fact, once I left, he said, they said it can't write for you, and I just don't know. And he just said, I said, well, if they can't write for me, how they going to tell me they can't write for Ernest Miller? He said, listen, I've talked to them a couple of times, and they think I'm showing favoritism, because, I'm speaking up for you. But when they said they can't write for people, usually just let them go. And I said, listen, don't even worry about it. Thank you for the opportunity. And I walked, and they released me from my contract, but You know, he was I like Vince. To this day, I like Vince McMahon. I always professional. I heard about him, you know, being loud and yelling at people and disrespect. I never seen that out of him.
That's kind of a different take. I know everyone has their own different personal relationships when it comes to Vince. And the fact that he gave you that open door where you can come in and talk to him, that's something that we don't hear about a lot of times from former wrestlers.
Oh, man.
Now,
Let me tell you this. When I was there, one time I was talking to somebody who had been there about longer than I have. They'd been there a while. And Vince McMahon walking down the hall, and I said, I'm going to go and talk to him. This guy said, Vince came over, shook my hand, said hello to this guy. And this guy said, that's my first time ever talking to him. I said, what? He said, man, since I've been here, Vince ain't never spoke to me. And it was white dude. Vince never spoke to me. I never had a conversation with him. He walked across. He see me, walked across, shook my hand. He was always really nice. I mean, I had nothing bad to say about Vince on that. But then the other stuff, the other people was the problem. I guess those might have been his head hunters, the other guys.
Yeah. Now, the game of politics in the locker room, I mean, did that exist in WCW as much as it did in WWE? I mean, I know there was everyone had creative control in WCW, and then of course there was the infamous Hogan angle. I believe it was at Bash at the Beach, where he wanted to win the title from Jeff Jarrett, and Vince Russo kind of just had that whole debacle, which people still criticize him to this day. Do you think politics played a big role in WCW?
Politics in WCW. Maybe I just didn't know where to look for since I was so new to the business. But I just, of course it's there, but I just didn't know where to look for it, and I didn't know what it looked like even if I saw the politics. It's like I just believe in you got a job, you go to work, and you do your job.
And you don't worry about what anybody has to say back there.
You don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Whatever they doing, and I know with some other things going on. I know with some all kinds of Hollywood stuff going on back in the back, in WWE. But I just say, what, listen, that's what they decide to do. If they ever come to me and ask me to do something like that, I'm getting the hell out of there.
Like I said, you've had a lot of feuds in WCW. Noticeably, a lot of them revolved around the commissionership, which led to a lot of interesting things.
You know why? Because a lot of the top guys didn't want to work with me. The top guys didn't want to listen. The top guys did not want to work with Goldberg. That's why Goldberg was so hated in WCW, because they were forced not just to work with Goldberg, but to lose to him and fast. A lot of people didn't like Goldberg. And that was the same thing with new guys coming up. A lot of those guys didn't want to kind of associate with the new guys, and I don't know why, but it's like, they just didn't want to associate with it. I was told one time they asked this guy to have a match with me. He was a top guy because I was right on the edge of blowing into that upper echelon of wrestling. So they asked him to work with me. He said no. Then they said, well, just go to the ring and grab his red shoes, and we'll try to work something like that. He said, okay, I'll do that. But he would not work with me, because, if you guys know that, I worked with a few top names, Ric Flair, Hogan. I worked with those guys. Well, it was a lot of guys I could have worked with and did something with when I was wrestling, but they had to work with me when I became the commissioner. If anybody tell you now about Ernest Miller, those young guys like what was the Young Bloods or the Young Bloods,
Natural Born Thrillers,
they'll tell you.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll tell you. Ernest Miller was one of the top guys who would work with us, work with anybody, because it was fun. It was a job.
Now, what do you think? You were there. You were in the trenches. You were ingrained. What's the one factor that caused the demise of WCW? Was it people afraid of losing their top spot? Was it the obsession of beating the WWE? What was it?
You know what? I could tell you what I heard, but it wouldn't be fair because maybe I didn't hear enough of it to even mean anything. And I can tell you kind of the way I feel and thought about that process of losing it. But that wouldn't be fair either because now I'm just thinking, I'm just guessing. The way I approached the business, I did my job, and that's all I had to do. I didn't worry about who else was doing this and doing that. I didn't worry about that, I came in, did my job, and that's why it took so long to come up like I did. Because people don't understand. I got Rookie of the Year when I was there. My first year, I got Rookie of the Year. I was the first one doing the nice shirts and nice stuff and going to the ring, calling my mama and talking stuff. I was the one doing that, and, the guys at WCW had a lot of respect for me. So, it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about what they're doing, because I don't have a problem. They may have a problem. Now, if I put myself in their problem, now I'm living a problem through them, so.
Now,
so I didn't worry about anything.
So jumping out of the wrestling world, as a big fan of the Cat, I was excited to see you in The Wrestler, which you alluded to earlier, as the nemesis of Randy the Ram Robinson. Kind of tell us how you kind of got that role. How did that come about?
Brother, it was like this. Once I left wrestling and I kind of got that taste of WWE, I think I was there 3 or 4 years. I got that taste. I was like, I still believe in myself. I said, you know what? I want to go do movies. I want to do a movie. No lie, it was just like that. I want to do a movie. So I said, let me go to L.A. People offered me a couple of little parts and stuff like that, which were easy, were fun. Didn't get paid for it. I just went on, these guys make in L.A., you got a movie being made everywhere. You could just walk up and say, hey, what y'all doing? We making a movie, won't be in it? Yeah. Then see it on TV. So, that was my experience in L.A. But then, I came home and I was in Atlanta and I got a call from this agent, said, listen, they got a movie they making about wrestling and they need somebody who can act. I said, no, I don't want, I'm done with wrestling. I don't want to be in wrestling no more. I want to do I told my man, I want to do a real serious movie, something that can be remembered a long time. Then he was like, well, I don't know about this movie, but the director is really one of the up-and-coming directors, in the business right now. So he want to meet you. So, you might have to, you might need to go out to New York to see. I said, go to New York, man. I hate New York, man. And he was like, well, his name is Darren Aronofsky, and I didn't know anything about that. I said, okay, well, let me think about it. Then he said, oh, and by the way, you got to pay your own way. I'm like, hell no. I'm not going. I'm not paying my way to see these guys, man. But then my girlfriend, who's my wife now, she kind of said, you might need to just go out there and see it. Then she looked up there and said, he has directed some crazy movies and people know who he is. So she kind of talked me into it. I got on a flight, went out there, I walked into the office. I met Darren and Jeune, who is his executive producer, and they told me about the part, and they said, can you read some lines for us? I read the line, and he was looking at me, and he was like, he didn't tell me anything about it. I knew who it was. I knew from the reading the script that it was going to be a big match at the end. So I read the script. He looked at me. He said, oh, that's good. That's good. He said, listen, I like you. And then he said, now let me see you move around in the ring. So I started moving around in the ring. Then the executive producer came out and said, yeah, we like you in the ring, but the most important thing, he said, listen, can you stay for another hour? We'll take care of your flight home. Don't worry about it. I said, why? I said, we want you to read some lines with somebody. I was like, cool. He said, he didn't tell me right away. Then he said, Mickey Rourke. And then my mom was in love with Mickey Rourke, so I'm like, damn, Mickey Rourke?
Did you say somebody call my mama?
Class out here, boy. Somebody, I did call. I called around the phone. So Mickey stumbled his ass up in there. And then when he came up in there, he came up in there slurring them motherfucking words and what the hell he said. I didn't know what he was saying. I was like, man. So I started reading the lines with him, and I couldn't read lines with him because he didn't remember the lines. So I was like, man, I said, you know what? I'm going to act like I just met a white boy on the street, and I'm going to talk to him because I know the lines. So I'm going to just talk to him. And that's one thing they taught us in wrestling. Doing all these live shows, you're working with so many different personalities. Be yourself, man. Just take the outline of what you're saying, what you're supposed to say, hit the mark, and just deliver the line, just like you would be talking. So me and Mickey, bang, 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 Darryl looked at him like, Mickey looked at Darryl and said, man, this guy's a natural, man. He's a natural. He was like, yeah. So he said, okay, you got the part. So he said, okay, Mickey, get in the ring. So Darryl walked me out. Mickey in the ring, hitting the ropes, and Darryl talking to me. And it was one time I was just damn near about to quit. Darryl Aronofsky standing outside the ring. Mickey got his little tights on, his boots on, shit. He running the ropes. I just hear the ropes running. So he looked at me. He was like, Ernest, you got the part. He said, now, your acting going to be good. We got you there. But what the most important thing you got to do, you got to make Mickey Rourke look like a wrestler. So I said, okay. I turned around and I saw Mickey running, and that mother hitting the rope like he was my 2-year-old grandson. I was like, hell no. How can I make that look like a wrestler? Man, that's impossible, man. That guy moved like he 100 years old. I just went home. Moved like he 100 years old. But then, once the next day, once we got in doing this stuff, Mickey wanted to do all these high-flying Rey Mysterio moves and stuff, man, and he could just, I ain't want to tell him he had no explosiveness in his legs anymore. His knees were gone. So there's no way you can even get over the top rope, hit the rope to do anything. Your legs are just gone. I wanted to break the news to him. But this dude was working so hard, man, that I wanted him to succeed. I wanted him to he fit that part, man. He worked so hard for this movie, man, that he made me want to see him be the best wrestler around, and he was just like that, man. So we went through this whole routine. We came up with the whole wrestling match, man. And then with one part that he wanted to do, but he wouldn't try. He wanted to hit me. I go over the top rope, go to the floor, and he would go run and hit the ropes on the other side, then leap over the top rope and splash me outside, That was his big build-up. Man, this dude right here couldn't even get through the damn second rope. So he, the first day. So I had to say, Mickey, listen, we just can't, every time we got the whole match down, we'd come to that part, he'll hit the rope, then he'll come to the rope, he'll stop. He would never go over. So I was like, we going to have to take it. He said, I can do it. And I just said, well, listen, I said, I'll tell you what, Mickey, just come over. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. If you can clear the rope, that third rope, I got you on the outside. Don't worry about it. I had to talk him into it. So the day came that we were shooting. The first part was just the speaking part. And the first time I told you I read with him, he was like slurring his speech. You couldn't understand what he was saying. He seemed like he was nervous, seemed like he was high or something. But when they said we came to shoot, and Darren said, okay, ready, action. This mug had the biggest smile on his face. He was talking so clear. I'm looking around like, what is he talking about? Then I'm noticing he's acting. I was like, God, dog, where did that come from? My I had to stop into it. He go from being like an old man to just that smile, and he just started talking, and he look at me in my face. I'm looking around like he must be talking to somebody else, because I've never heard him that clear and never heard him speak the lines like that and with a smile on his face. Man, I said, okay, I guess this is why he's Oscar nominated. This is why he's the top bill actor. So we started going through the spot, boom, reading. So that went well, man. And then the next part was the wrestling match. So we went through the wrestling match, boom, boom. Everything went good. They had a stunt double to come in to do some of the stuff. But in order for the match to be successful, they couldn't have the stunt double to come and do that leap over the rope to the outside. So it had to be done by him. They told him that. Because the camera angle they had to get his face. The camera angle wouldn't do it. So we sitting there, I was like, Mickey, trust me. if you get over the rope, I'll take care of the rest. He was like, man, he had this look on his face, man, and I understood. So we went through the match, boom, boom. I hit the rope, boom. I started choking him with the flag. He got me, threw me over the top rope and hit my back. I just flipped over the rope to the outside, grabbed the referee, pulled him to the outside, and here come the big moment. Mickey hit that damn rope, looked like it was in slow motion. He hit that rope from the other side, and I'm looking at him, and I could just see I'm down on one knee. Here he come, he approaching that thing, and I was like, oh, shit. He approaching it. Then next thing you know, I saw that big-ass head come over that damn third rope. I said, oh, he got it. So I just grabbed his head and yanked his ass on over there and laid him on top of me. And then, of course, I fell back and slapped the rope and made it look like he just did the splash of the world. The crowd was going crazy. Man, let me tell you something. This dude came to my locker, came to my dressing room, tell man, he said, let me tell you, so I've worked with a lot of actors, stunt guys. He said, you got a great combination of both acting. He said, you're so smart the way you put the stuff together and the way you made me feel comfortable, man. He said, I really appreciate that, man. He said, Ernest, I couldn't have done this without you. Couldn't have. He said, there was no way. So you know what? When he was nominated for an Oscar, I knew for sure he was going to say my name. Man, this mother got there, forgot that. Then not one word about me came out of his damn mouth. I bust my damn TV open. I was so mad. I threw that damn control at. I said, this motherfucker right here, I done made him look that good, win an Oscar, got a new job, and this mother couldn't say thing Ernest. He thinking somebody else. Somebody else had told him. He was thinking I forgot the guy's name. He was thinking him, and he never have to make the movie. I did the whole movie. But you know what? In this life is not fair. So you don't look for it to be fair. You get it from somewhere else.
That is true, man. That is true. Now, heard through a grapevine that I want to say almost a few years back you were signed up to be Muhammad Ali.
No.
George Foreman, I believe.
George Foreman.
They were doing George Foreman. Yeah, they were doing George Foreman. I was too good looking to do George then.
You know,
you don't want a Foreman grill it?
What happened? Yeah, I was gonna sell one of those grills. That's all they're gonna give me. I signed to do George, man, and I think it fell through. Of course, it fell through, but they put it on hold for some reason, and I was looking forward to that. But again, it wasn't anything. I'm not an actor. I just wanted to do it because I can. I said, hey, that's what I wanted to do. And the one movie I made a couple of them, Blood and Bones with Michael J. White.
I love that movie.
Yeah, The Legend of Bruce Lee. I did that. So, I've been in a few movies, but it just to be in a movie that was nominated for an Oscar, man, I can go into L.A. right now and meet anybody I want because I was in that one movie that was nominated for an Oscar.
And it was a
Darren
lead.
Aronofsky was the director. Yeah. So, that's a credit card right there. I go out there, man. I can go knock on NBC door, anybody door, and get in, because they take me serious out there because you got that kind of a reputation of being in a Oscar-nominated movie.
Now, where do you see yourself going with your acting career? Because honestly, I don't see you being bound in one box.
Bruh, I don't want. It's like let me say it like this. I can't say I don't want to be. I don't want to act. If the right thing come along, I will. If it's the right thing, I will. If I feel good about it, I'm not trying to be like Monique begging for y'all to boycott Netflix. I'm not gonna do that. But if the right movie come along, I will do. I think consider doing that then because it take a little work to get into it.
Yeah,
What do you think about that Monique? Hey, what do you think about that Monique thing with Netflix?
I think it's crazy for her to sit there and say
it's gonna be a hard sell for her when Netflix is giving Dave Chappelle $15 million to film 2 specials. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but I mean, I could on one side I could see her argument just with to me, Amy Schumer, yes, has come on in recent years, but Monique has history. Monique was also nominated for Best Supporting Actress with Precious, but then we know what happened there, and she was kind of blackballed. And I think she's not doing herself any favors with this one. But ultimately, like, I see why she's angry, and do I think she has a right to be? Yes, in those regards. But at the same time, it's like, as you mentioned, Hollywood is a kind of, what have you done for me lately? And when you look at Monique, she has...
But Hollywood, though, is Hollywood. But at the same time, I think she have every right. If that's her way to negotiate, she have every right. If they decide, hey, I'm going to give you $5 million, go put on a show, and the show bombed and it ain't good, they still look good because they gave her opportunity, they gave her a raise.
Yeah.
But for her to get on there and to cry over $500,000, and she talked about the movie she just did last year, and she on the real side, she have never been funny. I can't say funny. She's not one of my favorite comedians. So, just to see her out here now telling us to boycott Netflix, and because they're not giving her the money, they giving Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, and maybe they got better agents.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and to my co-host, Julio's point, like you said, it's kind of hard to try to boycott Netflix when they're giving $50 million out to Dave Chappelle, just for 2 network specials. And it's like, Monique, at a point in time, you were at a peak.
At the end of the day, Mr. Miller, like you said, if you can't get yourself over, get the moving. She can't get herself over.
Got to move it. Listen, 'cause there's other people out there who just want the opportunity, just to be on there, just to have their thing, and then knock it out the park, and then, sometimes you have to prove yourself,
500,000. I'll take 500.
She probably don't feel she got to prove herself.
Yeah, I mean, and now my question to you would be: do you think that's because she was nominated, as a Best Supporting Actress for, I believe it was an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. Well, she is a comedian, man. I maybe they should explain why they gave it to her, just to be upfront with people, but they don't have to, because they can pick and choose who they want on their network, and I just think it was a privilege, and a lot of people just say it's a privilege just to be asked to be on, given the opportunity to be on Netflix. If it's $500,000 ain't what I want, they offer somebody else $200,000. What's their budget? What are they trying to do? How are they using this scale? Why do you go from 500 to what? What did Amy get? 11 million, something like that?
Yeah, he got a pretty penny. He definitely did.
Yeah.
I mean, but the bringing back into the wrestling realm, I always see you as very entertaining, and to me, what matters most in wrestling is that the fan is entertained. Do you ever look back on your wrestling career and sit and wonder and even ask yourself, why weren't you ever given the opportunity to actually carry a title belt in your tenure?
You know what? Because it wasn't necessary for me. I got over without ever carrying a belt. Tell me, how many people in the business got over without ever winning a belt? Not many. Everybody had belts put on there. Even the opportunity, when they gave me the opportunity to win a belt, I told her I didn't want it. Because let me tell you a story, and this is the truth. When I was over one time as a heel, me and Sonny Ono,
well, yeah.
Guess who won? Guess who was the world title? Hulk Hogan. And guess who asked committee, the booking committee, they said, write something up where I lose the belt to Cat, and I got to chase him to get it back, get him back in the ring to get the belt back. He wanted to lose the world title to me.
This is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan wanted to turn the belt over to me, and they said, yeah, let's find a way to do it. But I think Eric Bischoff said no. And the reason Eric said no was because Hulk Hogan wanted to lose it like on a Monday, maybe, and then win it back like on that Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Or that next Monday. Eric thought it would be better if I kept the belt for a little longer to really let people buy into it,
Yeah. Oh man,
So I mean, it was opportunity there, man. But come on, let you and I know it's fake, man.
Yeah, we
It's
definitely.
fake. Those belts are fake. Those guys can't beat nobody ass.
I mean, we know it's fake, but I mean, just for me growing up, and I'm looking like there's not too many champions in wrestling that look like me, that have my skin color.
And let me tell you something. I was not a wrestler. I was an entertainer. Raven told me one time, said, Ernest, you got what it takes, 90%. Says about 10% wrestling and the other is entertaining. You got the whole entertainer part down. You got the whole entertainer part now. Now, if of course, if somebody came to me and said, we need you to wrestle more, take the karate stuff off, wrestle more, take the arm bar, take them down. I could have done that easy, man. I'm a super athlete. Super athlete. I'm 55 years old and I can still run circles around guys half my age in the karate world. And people look at me like, how in the world can you still do it? Because I never stopped working out. I never stopped training. I never stopped kicking. So, I was a super athlete, so I could get anything. A new guy come in and they tell me, oh, man, he's a great wrestler. He's a great wrestler. Yeah, you need to learn to do that, Ernest. Yeah, if I learn to do that, then I look just like everybody else.
And you'll be broke.
Yeah, exactly. And beat up. And my body will be there. I won't be able to walk away and do anything because those guys really beat their bodies up, man.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you find it, that you were lucky that you were able, to be successful enough where you didn't have to be in it long enough to get your body, ravaged by injury?
You know what? That worked on both sides, both ways. I was lucky enough to do that. But then on the other hand, guys who are in it are in it because they love it. That's all they do. They love it. They're not just all about money. You see these guys who were making millions of dollars, they were wrestling. You see the guy making thousands of dollars, guess what? They're still wrestling. You see guys making hundreds of dollars, guess what they're doing? They're still wrestling. So they love the business. So it's not the money that kind of save you. It's more of whether or not I love martial arts. I love karate. So when I'm not wrestling or doing wrestling shows or wrestling in the ring, I'm on the mat or in the ring kicking at people half my age.
How much do you watch today's product? I think you alluded to the New Day earlier and how much, I think we share the feeling that I kind of don't like the character that they portray on TV. They kind of take a little too much.
It's gay, man. It's gay, man.
Yeah,
it's gay.
It's a little much. It's a little too much for me. A little too much for me.
I mean, why can I say something? You can. It's too weak, man. It's too feminine. It's too. They got them looking strong sometime in the ring by the wind. It's just like you got the New England Patriots who win all the time by blowing people out, and who's the best is. Then you got like the Jacksonville Jaguars who just barely get past people here and they win by 1 point. Then they meet up with New England Patriots. New England Patriots just step on them, because they were built the right way, the strong way. Now, let me tell you this. Those guys, entertaining as they are, if they ever just pulled the boots on and got in the ring and stumped the mud hole on somebody, then they went out and started twerking and wearing that, man, let me tell you, me and Steve Ray were talking about this the other night. He sent me a thing on Twitter to where they was doing something where they had the leotard things on like girls and dancing with some good singing some girl and acting like I'm like, that's every black man right there, man. They sing you there to kind of take that manly away from not just you, but anybody that look like you. Why you got to? What is that gonna make anybody like you anymore? Or was that the only thing they can find to write about or to put you in? I just don't like some of it. But then again, I'm not a creative team. Maybe that diversity. I don't know who working on that, but maybe they need to get some new people in there who can just say, okay, not every black guy got to jump up and dance. Not every black guy got to act like a white girl. Not everybody got the black guy got the twerk and booty-os and stuff like that. Because in my hood, guys like that talk like that. Think about this. Where you come from, if you had a buddy who was twerking all the time, who would talk about booty-o cereals, what was cereal? What would you do?
It'd be tough to be buddies. It'd be tough to be buddies for a long time.
That conversation's not happening.
It'll be tough. We don't laugh at that where I come from. That right there is like, man, this pull him to the side. You need to cut that out, bro.
Yeah.
That twerk.
Hell, that twerk.
You know, all that twerk.
It's a no twerk zone over here.
Now, Mr. Miller, as we draw to the end, we like to play Booker with everyone we have on. We always ask them this particular question. If you could have one match with anyone, past, present, and any stipulation, who would you wrestle in and what kind of match would it be?
It would be Scott Norton, and it'll be, we'll fight until somebody die.
Is that because you and Scott Norton are not?
Whoa.
Is there some bad blood with you and Scott Norton?
If I can ever get my hands on that dude again, boy, I tell you, it'll be for real. It won't be no fakeness. It'll be for real.
Wow. Now, I know you guys had a little bit of feud in WCW. Is that what it stems from? Is from your time on camera?
Yeah, just that. Mostly that, yeah. And his big mouth,
Mm.
Oh, man.
So,
I remember he was a part of what? Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice with Ice Train, who I believe was your driver for a little bit, wasn't he? Ice Train. He became Am I Smooth?
Ice Train was my man.
Yeah, Ice Train. You and Ice Train ran together for a little bit for a while on camera.
Yeah. They made him my butler, my driver.
Yep.
That's a big butler, bro.
Am I Smooth? I remember that. Am I Smooth?
Yeah, oh, man.
Hey, man, that was the most athletic big guy I've ever seen. But, yeah, it would be Scott Norton. It'd be one more match would be against that dude.
In a death match.
It'd be no hold, no bar. They say he's deadly. They say he's strong. He's still strong. I know he's big and all that, man. But let me tell you something. I'm a real fighter. Ain't nothing pro wrestling about me. There's guys in the UFC, I'm telling you right now, and I put my hand on the Bible, I guarantee they won't stay in the ring with me no time, because I'm a specialist at what I do. Throwing techniques and doing that. They just look at, I'm at the age that I am, I had to be real. I had to be real. But if I was like 30 years old, I could get in the ring with what I can do right now. Not what I can do at 30, but what I can do right now. I could put this in the ring if I were 30 and beat anybody out there, big, small, or what. I guarantee it. And anybody who worked with me or sparred with me or ever fought with me, go on my Facebook or Instagram and look at it. They'll pick anyone out and say, what did he fight like? And I guarantee they said, this dude right here said all the time, he could stop anybody.
Oh, man. Now, which leads me to the next question. Beyond the scenes,
I thought that was the last question, man.
Nah. We said we were coming towards the end. We said we were coming to the end.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, you just, I don't know, you sparked the light bulb. Beyond the scenes, we always hear about wrestlers who may have threw on the fisticuffs and had a couple of beefs. Do you recall anything in your time in WCW or WWE, or even just personally with yourself, where wrestlers may have tested one another? And who got the better of it?
I'll tell you a story. Me and Scott Norton. That's how me and Scott Norton got at it.
Oh man!
It was a joke. It was a joke. I'm in the ring doing my thing. I'm challenging anybody in the thing. That's what I always go out and do. And they will put a match. Okay, Ernest, you challenge anybody in the crowd, anybody, and then such and so will come down to the ring and you wrestle him. But I'll always see the list, the booking list. I know who's coming to the ring. Somebody I can kick in the face or do real fast, So this time I look at my thing sheet. Ernest, second hour you go on, second match, and you challenge somebody, and no name. I go to the ring, do my thing. Bang, I'm challenging somebody. Boom, boom. Next thing you know, Scott Norton music hit. Scott Norton come out. I'm throwing, and we get in the match. We start the match. We called a little bit of it. We started the match. Anything I did to him, he did no sell. I saw I kicked him, he didn't sell. He just brushed it away. I kicked him again, but I wasn't kicking him hard. I kicked him again. He just knocked it around. No sell. He chopped me. I sell. You know, he picked me up, slammed me. I sell it. You know what sell mean, right?
Yeah.
So I'm selling everything. So then I roll over and I hit him to the nuts with the nut low blow. He didn't sell that. So I said, this mother ain't selling, man. You know, this is my first time being in that position.
Yep.
So he ain't selling. So he picked me up, suplexed me, boom. Arn Anderson said, man, listen, you professional, man. I like that. You stayed professional in the ring. You didn't blow your cover. He said, that's what's wrong with the business. These guys take advantage of people in the ring, so don't worry. And I'm thinking, like, what is he talking about? So I walked past him. Scott Hall come up to me, and Scott Hall said, Cat, when you get somebody who's not cooperating with you in the ring, you know real karate. You know how to fight for real. It's okay. Let loose on him. I was like, something must have happened. Because in the ring, you can't I've been in knockdown, kickboxing matches to where I've been dazed and I had to carry myself through the last couple of rounds. This is nothing like that because it don't hurt. It's all acting, you know?
Yeah.
A chop to the chest is not anything to me. So, but I got a friend, hard work Bobby Walker, who was a wrestler, and he was home, and one of my best friends, and he always watched the show. So I called him out to the show. I called him out there. And I said, hey, Bob, did you see that match with me and Scott Norton? And Bobby said, yeah, man, he just treated you like a piece of meat, man. He wasn't selling your stuff. He said, Ernest, he's real radical now. I walk in. I see Eric Bischoff. I said, hey, Eric, how you doing? He said, I'm doing great. Then I said, Eric, can you do me a favor? He said, what? I said, can you help me get another match? He said, what match? I said, I want to wrestle Scott Norton again. Eric said, what? Are you sure? He said, you sure? I said, yeah, I want to wrestle Scott Norton again. He said, okay, I'll book that for the night, Monday night Nitro. So we sit down this time. He said, Ernest going to go to the ring. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to call out somebody. They're going to hit Scott Norton music. He's going to come to the ring. So me and Scott went over the match. Scott sitting right there in front of me. I said, okay, Scott, this is the match. You get in, you chop the hell out of me, no sell, chop me, do whatever you want to. I just need 3 kicks. And he said, okay, I can do that. I said, now, he said, what you going to do? I'm going to chop you. I'm going to atomic bomb you. Then you get it, I'm going to chop you some more. Then you go to the ground. You putting all these chops in. That's okay. That's okay. Now, right here is the spot. You're going to chop me to the corner. And as you chop me to the corner, I'm going to bag up, and I'm going to do a kick to your chest, and you just slap it away. No sell. He said, okay, all right. Then I said, now that second kick, I'm going to bag up again a little further, and I'm going to slide in a little deeper with that kick right to the chest. I said, you kind of rumble back a little bit. He said, okay, all right. Then I said, now that third kick, go down. He kind of looked. He said, go to your back. He said, okay. He said, okay, I got it. So, boom, we just called the match. We get ready to go to the match. I tell him again before we go out, we get ready to go through the tunnel. I can't tell him again. I said, remember, first kick, no sell. The second kick, slap it down. But remember, you got to go down on that third kick. He said, okay, I got it. We get in the ring. He chopped me up. I'm selling it. He chopped me the same way he did that night. Chopped me good. Now here come my kick. That's what I thought he was going to do. I kicked the first time. He didn't let me get it off. I kicked him down in the chair. He just slapped it away. I kicked him again. He didn't do it again. He just slapped it away. That third kick that I told him to go down on it, I damn near ripped his head off. You didn't see no but teeth flying through the sky. He spit out 2 front teeth just flying to the guy. He went down, and it was so funny. He went down. Then he got up and rolled over and powerbombed me and go 1, 2, 3. And as he was walking through the door, me and Sonny knew what had happened. We were laughing so hard because I knew he was going to stand up and not go down.
So Scott Norton, Ernest the Cat Miller, death match.
I don't think we're gonna be looking for Scott Norton to be a guest on this podcast anytime soon, Mr. Miller.
Hey, brother, we ain't on the contract. This will be all for real.
It'll be-
He old man now. I would not want to do that to him. He's an old man. I would not want to do it to him now. I feel, I feel bad if I hurt that old man.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we heard comments against the elderly.
No, but I did wrestle an old man one time. Then I'm gonna let you. Then I'm getting off here. My wife calling me. But I wrestled an old man in a match. And he hit me with a trash can. I wrestled on Dory Funk. What Funk? Which one?
Well,
Dory Funk.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, man. They were telling me you wrestling this guy. He could just barely walk. He said, "What?" I was like, "Okay, I wrestle him." So he bring his little trash can with all the stuff in it. He throw, how you drag a trash can down to the ring.
Yep.
He throw the trash can in the ring and shit fly everywhere. And I'm in there talking. He throw the trash can. He almost hit me with the trash can. So we had called a spot, and I said, "Listen." He said, "I'm gonna hit you with this." Then he was like, "Yeah." Then you gonna take me out. We gonna fall out to the car. Man, we fall all the way to the parking lot. This old man wanted me. He was telling me to do this stuff to him. Power drive him on top of a car. So I took him out there, power driving over the car. Man, this guy looked like he was like 80 years old. I was so mad. So I got in the ring. I said, "I'm going to kick you. And then you selling, I'm going to turn my back and do my little 3 fingers in the air and then turn around and chop you." I hit him and I turned around and I looked in the camera, put my 3 world champion finger up. And before I turned around, that boy got hit me right with that damn trash can. I was busy for days. I was like, "Oh, no, man, this old man that killed me." I think he didn't give me time to turn around. It just, boom. When you get hit.
Well, Mr. Miller, Ernest the Cat Miller,
much.
thank you so much, man. This is thoroughly entertaining.
Truly an honor.
Definitely an honor, man. Hopefully we can definitely connect down the line. And like I said, thank you very much. We'll make sure we're in contact and get you on with the interview. This is once again Ernest the Cat Miller. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, Mr. Jeune. Mr. Jeune.
Somebody call my mama.
What?
Somebody call my mama.
Yo.
The cat himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Now, for the younger generation that don't know what this man was like back in his heyday.
Well, he had blonde hair before Shelton Benjamin. Who also had a gimmick with his mama, who wasn't his mama.
Right.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot that we see in today's modern day wrestling as far as entertainment that was introduced first with the cat. And he was legitimately a badass. I'm talking about he's a 3-time world karate champion, was a champion in kickboxing way before he got into wrestling. Like he said, he didn't get into wrestling until his mid-30s. So,
but you know what I liked about him, man? Like, you can just tell, like, when he was on camera, like, he didn't have an ego. Like, he knew that he went in and just had a role. And he just did that role, and ultimately he bought that entertainment value. Like, you have that whole Muhammad Ali talk, and then you throw in the swag with the dance of the James Brown. You know what I mean? And even to the point he was able to dance with James Brown.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, that entertainment, for me, he goes down in the books as one of those who are thoroughly entertaining. You know what I mean? And I wish his time in WWE would have lasted more, because even the small tidbits he was there was very entertaining.
But it's great to know that he didn't need it. He was successful enough and smart enough and had a plan when he got into the business that he didn't have to rely on the business, which I think a lot of people that are in the business didn't learn.
Yeah, and as you guys heard, he's done movies. He got some stuff coming down the line as well. He's one who seems at peace, and that's sometimes you don't really hear that from a lot of former professional wrestlers. So once again, big shout out to Ernest the Cat Miller, man. You already know he said you guys can follow him on Twitter, find him on IG and Facebook. This is the Unsanctioned Podcast. This is your boy, Jay Holland. You can find me on all social media at JOCity, JAYOCITY, unless it's on Facebook at that 781 at the end.
And I'm Julio Jeune. Thanks.
You already know, man. This is the Unsanctioned Podcast. We are now being unsanctioned over the airwaves. Let's go.
Peace.
Gotta bring the city back. Let me know we still here. Never gonna stop.